Gosh, I was probably 8 or 9 years old, and my grandfather had Alzheimer's. And at that point in time, they really didn't know what to do with individuals that had Alzheimer's. In most cases, they would either go the psychiatric route, or they would go to skilled nursing. And so my dad just hated the idea of having to put his father in a skilled nursing facility, and he lived for 14 years with Alzheimer's. And so he thought that there could be a better way to age and to live the remaining part of his life in an environment that wasn't so clinical. And so he began working to create a product that would allow for an individual to age in place with with whether it was dementia or Alzheimer's, or a disease that affected the mind but not the body. And so he got this crazy idea to build what was called a personal care home. And in that point in time, he tried to build a building that was 50 rooms. And the nursing home lobby did not like that. The nursing home lobby felt that what he was trying to do took from their pool of candidates that could move into skilled nursing. And at that point in time, that private pay component was significant. And so, my father tried to build a 50-bed or 50-room community, and the nursing home lobby basically shut that down and only allowed him to build a building that was 25 rooms. And I can remember going to that zoning meeting, and they had a number of people from Washington on the skilled nursing side come down and want to understand exactly what he was trying to build, which at that point was very non-clinical, right? It was truly assisted living, not what we think of assisted living today, but very different. And so he built his first building, and it was opened in 1989. And it was right next to where he lived, or right next to where we live. So he'd go back and forth. And at this point in time, it was an incredible luxury to live in an environment like that. And so a few years later, he built another one that was at the bottom of the hill that had a few more resident rooms. And, he didn't have a blueprint. I got a lot of respect for my late father, trying to imagine building a community without having to look at someone else's and what they've done. There are a few people around the country at that point in time that had sort of caught on to that same product type. And so he had some folks to talk to, but really there was no blueprint, right? There was no one that he could talk to. And so, he created it from scratch. And so those two buildings are still open today. Or at least one of them is, and then he built another one in Cumming, Georgia, which is still in operation, called the Mann House. One is called the Mann House. They're both called the Mann House, one in Cumming and then one in Sandy Springs. And so growing up in that environment, that's where I spent my summers, taking care of residents, managing the landscaping, working in the kitchen, answering phones, really doing anything that I could to help out. And so post-college, went to work with Johnson & Johnson, and then came back into the family business, working with my father. So pretty interesting as to where the industry is today. But that's sort of my background and my history. I like to think I'm sort of coach's son. A lot of what I say, I can just hear my dad, speaking in my ear. So the industry is very special to me. It's come a long way, and it's a beautiful thing.